So hi everybody. I am Heather Arnett, and I'm going to sort of NC the UC one. I am going to introduce the institutional team and our roles in a bit, but I do have photos of the instructor and administrators here. So Dr. Aida Jimenez, Dean Tracy Bradley, and Dr. Beth Polly are part of our sort of the adultier adults, as First2 likes to call it, of our institution team. But I wanted to pause here because I was remiss when I made our slides, and our students aren't here because they joined us after I made the slides, and I apparently mental broke down and didn't realize I could edit them before this morning, but after I sent them to Jade, so I just did it. So we do have two students joining us today, Ms. Brittany Prince and Ms. Haley Cox, who are absolutely fabulous. They will be joining in the presentation as well, so you will hear of their voices, and their fabulous faces will poke on screen. So I guess make a good effort to see their faces there, and all the shame on me for not putting their faces here to make them much easier to see. Oh, okay, well, I'm just gonna, there we go. All right, making things work. I'm sorry. All right, so I don't want to spend a lot of time here since we've now seen all these questions 80 times, but these are the things that we really want to focus on today. As we kind of saw from everyone, a lot of these proud things really do overlap a lot, which I kind of loved hearing everyone else talk about too. A lot of the summer pieces and the club pieces, and even a lot of the faculty and staff pieces have a lot of overlapping and interacting features, which are really great to be able to talk about. I also will point out, as we highlight when we get down to the piece about improvement science, that's where most of the student engagement and our students are going to pop in, which is really great. So we'll be able to see how they've been both working with some of the questions and really how their experience with these PDSAs has been. All right, so some of the things I'm going to spend most of the time talking about, which is really where I've been. So we've had the opportunity to be with First2 for a little over 2 years now. Dr. Jimenez has been with it longer than me, bless her soul. We've had 2 summer camps. 2 years ago, Dr. Jimenez ran it. It was virtual, the year we don't talk about, right? And then last year we were blessed and got to do it in seat. So we've had a lot of different experiences, a lot of things to learn, and a lot of ships that we got to build while we were flying them. So as a lot of other groups have been able to talk about, of course, one of the big things that we get to really see and get a lot of joy from is that the students that are coming out of any of these immersive experiences are really getting structure and community, partly from each other, right? They are getting to see each other as a community. They get to see each other to lean on, whether it's just stress, whether it's for tutoring. I need help in this class. Oh, me too. I happen to be in this class. And it's really great to be able to see that. The other thing I really wanted to say here that I know I personally get a lot of joy from is those students that were in these, particularly these summer programs, when you get to have them in class then in the fall or the spring, and you see them bringing about either just the confidence of like, I've seen this science before, or I've actually done these techniques before, and you get to see them apply those with confidence or excitement in class. That's just a really awesome joy for me to watch, and for them to have that realization and that recognition and that extra confidence. So I love that skill building. On here, all the boost to Dr. J, who pulled some data for us, comparing some similarly matched students. We see on top how our first 2 summer students are performing compared to some non First2 rated students, so non underrepresented in some way. And we can see at minimum here that generally speaking, due to these programs that our First2 students, at least ideally, have been in, that we're seeing either similar attributes, right, particularly in these math and chemistry scores, or right, increased scores. Now, low end values, right? We're a small school, so our first year summer cohorts are quite small, but still there's some encouraging data here. And so in particular, this research engagement, please click, there we go. are things like actually doing some independent inquiry research, but actually then presenting in the and engaging in the dissemination. So for example, on the left-hand side here, several of our first 2 generation camp and scholar students engaged in the undergraduate research day at the Capitol here this year, which was just absolutely amazing to see them involved in that. And they were absolutely fantastic and amazing. So that was great. In addition, on the right here, we can see the club itself out for National First Generation Day as well. So again, really getting to see that community and support structure, which I think is one of the most amazing things. And I know someone mentioned it before, but certainly as a student and as a first generation student, I would have killed for that. So I really see that too. One of the other things I wanted to highlight is Dr. J had gotten the STEM, so our school has it, bless. And so that's another community that gets involved with this. So when the evaluator came through, they were able to talk to the students and really get a good piece of that student voice there. And so we can see here that the students as well are really highlighting both that sense of community, being able to be with each other, right? Being in that group all the way through, hey, but then being able to see sort of their works, right? I knew we were going to be together in class. We continued to work together, and then being able to continue to work on those skills and having access to these resources in front of us, which was really great to be able to see, okay, this is what we wanted to set up, and that they're feeling good about this kind of consistent community and resources, which we love to see.
Dr. Arnett, can I talk a little bit more about that?
Get it, girl, yes.
So I was part of the immersion team, and I can just say that it changed the whole trajectory of my first year at the University of Charleston, because the people I met and the relationships I formed, you know, they're my friends and they're my support team. And they helped get me through my first year, and we all just bounce off each other, and that wouldn't have been possible without this immersion experience. And then the first 2 club, the people that didn't participate in the immersion experience, they still were my family too, and they helped support me through this. And we had 14 people in our first 2 group, and getting to know each of them, we had a diverse range of chemistry majors, biology majors, everyone that just really embraces science. And it was an amazing thing just to work with them. And we helped understand each other's challenges. And it was just such an amazing experience. We had movie nights, we went out to dinner together, we did so many things, and it's just been amazing for us.
Wonderful addition. Thank you for those clarifications, Haley. Okay, so a few other key pieces are looking at some of the things in specifics about the immersion sites and camps. So as Haley sort of mentioned, the kids from the camp had been together all year. And one of the things that we were able to do, luckily, and we didn't get to turn this into a formal PDSA, but as the interns and the mentors were going through our first in-seat camp last year, that was the first time we ever got to run anything in-seat, we really were kind of figuring out how to plan it. So we kind of actively acquired feedback as we went, and we really focused on some of these experiential components, the immersive pieces, if you will. So catering, dorm living, and a lot of these things that we were doing that were not academic or research based. We asked about that stuff too. But so here we had our key tactic, and this is going to come into building our research team, is one of our institutional members is Dean Bradley. And so we, in part, have engaged her with, as we look forward to our future camps, to help increase the communication with some of these other departments and take some of the load maybe off of just our poor 2 faculty members, but really help get these departments working together and creating a much better experience. Related to this, the interns from our previous camp year are looking to returning as this year's mentors And we think that this looks really great. It's really helpful, right? If they have these experiences, they're carrying them forward, and they can bring these experiences and ideas to the in-seat camp. Now, I did mention our team. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this, but I do really love our team, aside from, of course, having these wonderful student voices. I mentioned two individuals that many of you maybe had not had the opportunity to meet before, in particular, Dean Bradley, who's the dean of our school. And as I mentioned, her goal is to really help both support the faculty, which she is absolutely fantastic at, really in any way, mentally and emotionally. But she's really also acting as a fantastic liaison between the faculty and students and these upper administration levels, or between these many departments that you kind of have to hook together to make all of this work. The other amazing key person that we have is Dr. Polly, who is an administrator. So aside from the fact that she signs all of the fancy paperwork, she really is a great key person to be able to talk to and get data, because she works in the provost executive administrative level. And so we talk a lot about who's a First2 person, how do we get this stuff. She has access straight to this. Sometimes it makes it a lot easier. And of course, Dr. Jimenez and myself happen to be both first level biology instructors. So as the students come in, they get to hang out with us, and that helps a lot. Okay, so the next big bulk of this, we want to talk a little bit about our PDSAs, largely looking at some of these change ideas that we've been doing over, like I said, over the last 2 years. Dr. J, do you kind of want to take over here and look at some of these things?
Sure. I would do that. We have the timer there for 5 minutes. I'm just gonna quickly talk about the different PDSAs. Just let's start with saying the folks from Community College Bridge Valley, we hear you. PDSAs are not easy to really right off the bat understand. It took us a little bit to get going, but we do get a lot of insight from them, and we have some students managing some of them within the club structure. And so we have here some that we've implemented. For example, change idea connected to goal driver 3, which is very important to us, the connection, the making connections with the faculty member and coming up with the community. And we have been able to collect data, do different things to provide to sort of force engagement, informal engagement between students and faculty member. We've done that for the 2 summer camps, summer immersions that we've done. Another one, I'm gonna skip, if you can go ahead a little bit because it's related to the same idea. We've instituted trivia nights with faculty and students. And these have been really lots of fun. Haley, do you wanna say something about these? Or Brittany, please feel free to unmute.
I can talk about it. So our trivia, it was a combination between students and faculty, and it really helped for me. It helped bond those connections with my professors because it eliminated that intimidation factor of it. Because you see when you're competing for trivia that these are your equals, you know, that you can respect your professors, but we were all terrible at trivia. And it was just a fun moment just to see that we could bond together and work together.
We're humans too.
Yes.
So we collected some quantitative data, and what we want to do with this moving forward, this is an initiative from Jasmine Lafferty, who's graduated, and we're gonna continue to do these activities now. We are extending this to do them at the department level, so they're not just gonna be for First2 students. We want to do this with all of our majors. And we want to focus on the gains when you're a freshman, because some of the students had already, by the time the data was connected, participated in immersion. And so we started with baseline data that was already high. They already felt a little bit connected to us. So we want to see what happens when you're a freshman brand new. And so other PDSAs, if you want to go back, Heather, real quick. Just a different one that we worked on is how to, in communities of practice, this is goal driver 2, how to actually share data within, the scientific practice. And this is an change idea that I had for summer immersion last summer using Rocket Notebooks. And then we expanded that to classes in the fall because it works so well. So we're definitely getting a lot of really great ideas that we are sort of testing. The First2 Club and the immersion students are a little guinea pigs. And then we take that and implement it at the department level. And we're seeing great success with that. So they're hard to do PDSAs, but they are so worth it in improving what you're doing and making it better. So yes, definitely recommend. So if you can go to the next, we're running real close out of time. So Dr. Arnett, if you want to talk about our challenges a little bit.
Yeah, sure. On the plus side, a lot of you guys have mentioned a lot of similar challenges, right? We're a small university and we've got a lot of the same issues you have. So the first challenge I want to mention, I think we've all felt this pain, recruitment. Huge problem this year, huge problem every year for everybody, everywhere. Generally, it's down. Some of these we think could be potentially some network-wide issues, potentially with some network-wide issues, it's a network issue, right? That things everybody's feeling, maybe some applications. Are there things that we can maybe change in the way that we're timing? Certainly at the institution level, there's more things that everybody can do. And of course, we're hitting some of the main issues we talked about before, right? So many of us are wearing other hats. A lot of the high schools totally burnt out, aren't hearing anything anybody says. So it's really difficult. And that's not a them issue either. Everyone's tired. Everything's hard. And it makes recruitment hard. Someone else mentioned sustainability. So I don't know, again, that I need to spend a lot of time here as well. But like someone else mentioned, we are teeny. We're a private institution. That's awesome sometimes. It's not awesome when we're talking about money. Because we don't get any extra funds from the state or the federal government. And certainly thanks to COVID, there really aren't any extra funds to go around anywhere. So one of the things we've been talking about is how can we do this when First2 leaves us, or when First2 runs out of money with for the big camps. We've talked about things like, can we hybridize our camps? Can we do smaller versions of the camps, which we don't love as much because we know that the power is in the time of the camps, but it's still kind of thinking about how do we make little bits of money, still have big impact. And then the last thing that we've been talking about as well is this buy-in question. This is something that our working groups talk about a lot too, is how do we get buy-in from administration, right? And get broader engagement from other departments or other courses, right? And get everybody on the bus, or maybe, so this is what I mean by FYE, right? That's first year experiences. We've had some Specs happens to have a study hall that we've been able to do, but we'd like to make that bigger, particularly, and I know everyone else has mentioned, and by the way, I've been stealing your slides for these math study hall and support things. I'm just like copy and paste them because you guys are awesome. And that's been a big problem for us. So thinking about how we can expand those kinds of things as well. I know I ran over, Jade, bless you, I'm so sorry.
Can I say one last thing real quick? We are very proud of our students and what they're doing, and we're proud of this new incoming leadership that's coming up. We've lost a lot through graduation this semester or this May, and we're very excited about what the future holds for First2 Club and activities on campus. So thank you, First2, for all of the support that you give UC students.